Welcome to Global Tax Talks Tax in 60 Seconds. I'm Will Morris, and here are some things to watch out for in the coming week. First, as I speculated last week, it might have been a little premature to crack open the champagne to celebrate the resolution of all outstanding Pillar 2 issues. As also mentioned, the Polish presidency of the EU prepared an interesting document, which has now leaked in the tax press, setting out a number of options for possible resolution of concerns raised by the US. The first of these options looked at issues around tax credits, with the possibility of extending eligibility to more tax credits by eliminating the requirement for refundability. It pointed out, however, that this could create more loopholes, although, as you'll know from what I've said in the past, I do believe that many credits and incentives, yes, with appropriate safeguards, can help correct for market failure and promote growth, especially for developing countries that can't afford refundable credits. The second set of options in this paper looks at the UTPR and includes extending the UTPR safe harbour for UPE jurisdictions or removing the UTPR entirely. The paper says that the second of those raises concerns that the income inclusion rule, or IIR, could be undercut and EU businesses disadvantaged, though the OECD long ago concluded that GILTI does not provide an advantage relative to the IIR. The third proposal considered equivalence for US GILTI, GILTI, i.e. treating GILTI as a qualified Pillar 2 regime. There was said to be two ways of doing this, either to achieve it by changing the EU directive, difficult and again potentially disadvantaging EU businesses if they're subject to the UTPR and non-EU businesses are not, or by having the US change its law to accept jurisdictional or country-by-country blending, which obviously is not happening. Anyway, like I said, none of the options was exactly a sure thing, and business also raised concerns similar to those in the paper. So, at the high-level working party last week, several countries declined to engage on these Pillar 2 solutions and said those conversations should take place between the OECD and the US, which is all good and well, except that the OECD can't change EU law. So, not much closer and no champagne yet. Meanwhile, discussion continues in the US Congress on exactly which of the retaliatory measures to include in the upcoming tax bill. There seems to be a chance that both proposed Section 899, taxes go up by 5% a year for 4 years, as well as extension of the BEAT to businesses from countries with a UTPR, could be included. And not to leave Pillar 1 completely out of the picture, US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said last week that DSTs in EU countries had to be sorted out before a trade deal could be reached. Anyway, thanks for joining me, and come back next week so that you stay global tax ready.